Mic check, mic check, mic check. Now, I am going to regret these words, but I'm going to have to be brutally honest to any actual hexagons left. I don't think in the short term we are actually going to make it, people. Seriously. We have a fork of Uniswap v2. We have a fork of Ethereum with some other improvements. It's up and running. It's been out for more than 2 weeks, I tell you that. Thank you for tuning in or just stopping past. I'll see if anyone's got anything in the chat, but you're not going to like this content, people. This is like, I'm not sure my purpose in life anymore, people. I have wasted, well, not wasted. I've enjoyed the last 5 years or so, give or take, but oh my God, people. Just as I started streaming, I get like a twitch on your nose. I was like, what the fuck is that? Now, I'm trying to bite my tongue here. As per the formula, let's have a look at the price of Bitcoin and the price of Ethereum, right? And we are looking okay. We're range trading. I don't know what you would like to call this. It's not over 100K, but for Bitcoin, if you guys remember when the AA took place many years ago, Bitcoin was a little bit lower. I tell you that. Now, sorry, ASMR drinking in your ear, but Ethereum, I don't know what are you're broken. It's not broken, but what I'm seeing interesting. Now, I'm not going to rip on all the community because like they're doing a far better job of building than I ever could. I do nothing. I'm just going to sit back and throw tomatoes at what I'm seeing on the stage here, because we are being destroyed. Let's have a look at the price of. I still use GoPulse. However, I am not even going to entertain a sacrifice of any sort, right? I saw it and I just about vomited into my hat. Now, we can see, now that's not to say it's not going to, go up in price from its inception if you're lucky enough to get early, because we all know the saying, people who get rich and grow, which is pretty much true, are early adopters and founders. Now, this sort of stuff, you do have the window of opportunity to engage if you wish. I, for one, at the last minute may, but like looking at the coins and tokens, I'm going, well, my Pulse is down, my Pulse X is down, my ISC is down, my HEX, my EHEX, my even Ethereum's down. And yeah, I could inject some new money that I work for into the system, but that would then mean I can't afford other things like food and water and shelter and petrol. Coming from a true broker here. Now, and oxygen. Thank God we don't have to pay for oxygen yet. Now, I can't believe this. Now, if you, I'm not going to talk about this anymore. I just, I'm sorry, you guys are awesome, whoever you are, anonymous team. No disrespect, because like I said, you built cool stuff. It's been here since inception. I've adopted it quite well. But have a look at the numbers you are showing me. I'm not overly impressed with the sacrifice rate being at negative. It's not 0.3. It's negative Negative. It's negative. If you, it's negative, people. If zero, I don't know if he taught you like maths, but that's a very good workaround. Like, how do we represent negative? Right, what's times by decimal? Sweet. That's some brilliant. Now, sorry if you're tuning in and you are a hard Hexan, or if you're tuning in purely to laugh at me and throw tomatoes. Either, I don't care at this point in time. But I'm seeing some really wrecked stuff going on. Now, price is down, continues to go down. Despite all the positive SEC FUD, right? And the fact is, in my opinion, that had, I don't even know if this is true or not, had code been like vindicated and proven in some cases that it's not, I don't know, the opposite of free speech in the US. Maybe things like Uniswap and Unichain couldn't exist without the, you know, in the back of their mind thinking, oh shit, is this SEC going to go after us? So I don't like seeing that, because to me, it was like absolutely crushing innovation in every country that it could put its tentacle into. And it was also, in my opinion, influencing the various other agencies around the world through their policies. Like, so equal agencies in other jurisdictions would be watching closely what the SEC is doing. And if SEC acts in one way, maybe they follow suit, maybe they don't. Whoever's leading first, if you can imagine sort of a line starting from the center, spreading out, that's the regulation that we're seeing, starting from the 0 point, 0, then every line that seems to reach out the furthest, everyone then adopts, and then as each line keeps pushing out further, we see this larger arrangement of regulation. Now, some of it may be reasonable in some cases if like actually proven and if actually taking place. For instance, if actual psychopaths are doing criminal activities, and yeah, you can stop that, that's fine. It's not talking about that. I'm talking about like law-abiding citizens who are following the rules and regulations legally and lawfully, shit like that. Now, if you look at what took place with the case with Pulse Chain, Pulse X, INC, HEX, INC wasn't mentioned, Richard Hart himself. Well, I'm scared to say that name because I feel like, knowing what legal team is behind that individual should scare anyone. Just put it like that, in my opinion. Now, and that's also why I don't want to do this video, because I'm like watching, going, oh my god, what is taking place with, say, HEX? You guys remember? There was a tweet. Everyone blamed the tweet. It's like, meanwhile, everyone's been dump selling from the inception. And I'm not saying that's bad. Like, people that made shit tons of money, the opportunity was there. They took the door, not the window or the fire exit. They took the front door, the golden door, like everyone probably should have. And now they are enjoying the fruits. Now, others have to wait a bit longer, in my opinion, now, looking at the price, looking at T-share rate, and looking at the yield, the moves that OA did. Not having a dig at that, but pointing out that it's primed for volatile movements either way. This is why we're seeing, in my opinion, low prices. Sound like a TV ad. Low prices. Now, the next thing, so we have the fork, right? So this is usually what I'll do. I'll be like, did you know how wonderful Pulse Chain is? How quick it is? How cheap the fees are? Look at this wonderful LP yield that we're getting, and have you seen HEX? It's a certificate of deposit, able to provide, XYZ return based on T-share, or if you understand Bitcoin a little bit, hash rate. Now, that is not so much the case. Now, the case is price go up is the reason why you might look at a cryptocurrency like this, HEX specifically. Now, you are not early and you're not a founder, are you going to get rich off it? Because that was the logic behind it initially. That, you know, early adopters or founders tend to get the most. But now we're seeing this weird timeline play out whereby the price is in reverse solidly since the all-time highs. Now you can analyze and say all-time high, lower liquidity, sacrifices take place. That sacrifice I didn't mind because it was actually for the freedom of speech, right to move, etc., etc. Now, no expectations, etc., etc. Now, it took place at all-time high, so the timing, the sweet spot was there because it locked in your all-time high. So if you didn't take any profits from HEX's all-time high, thereabouts, you might have locked in some gains thereabouts. And if you held to now, it would be down a bit, but most likely you're still up from, depending on when you purchase, that is. See, I'm sort of just thinking everyone's like me, but yeah. Some people might have actually bought in at the all-time high, and then they would not be very happy right now. Now, we then saw a delay, and then we saw, like, we're looking, like, fast forward, skipping all that, fast forward to today, right? At this point in time, we are seeing, where is it? My cursor. Now, I guess this is on the back of Pulse X, and I think, in my opinion, many people would have been watching how Pulse Chain played out, its strengths, its weaknesses, you know, it's things like that. And maybe they thought it was cool that high APR could attract money to the chain. And it is curious how Pulse X has been deprived of this high yield environment. Probably because it had such high yield for such a long time, had people had lots of opportunity to get in at the highs, high yield. They locked away. If they locked away early on the T-share rate, they are still getting some pretty mad deals. When some of these stakes are ending, the amount of HEX they're going to get is going to be through the roof. Price, not so much in the short term, because I still think HEX is going to $1. It just is going to take a lot of capital to be plowed into this system, to have a lot of capital ripped out. So I don't think that is going to happen like that. The meme coin approach was very interesting. I would just love to see the meme coins pump hard to the roof, and give some people some gains. Like, it has been like a desert, and we're just starving for the rain, and the rain is gains, and it's like, it's just not coming, people. I'm telling you, it's not coming. And everyone who knows about Pulse Chain, who knows about Pulse X, in my opinion, are already in the system and have been through an absolute hiding, and who have experienced if they stayed in and stayed the course, they are now left with what would feel like the world's slowest rug, right? I'm not saying it is, but if you look at the price and how it is playing out, it's basically, it would feel like that at this point in time. Now, that wasn't what I wanted to say. Because, like I said, I'm going to regret saying this. But then we have Uniswap come out recently, about 5, 6, 7 days maybe, pointing out how they're dropping uni rewards. And basically, it would not surprise me at all if people would go chasing higher yield, because I was like, so I'm shining. Okay, so in HEX, right, when I don't know how to say it. In HEX, when this sounds retarded because it's like when there was less of us and less economic energy floating around and less people knew about it, it was better. You know, it was like from my perception, it was like, oh, you know, this is kind of cool. Everyone's learning new stuff, teaching stuff, all that stuff. Now we've got the Pulse chain community, which is fine. We've got like the SEC stuff, which was huge. And then I remember on X the other day something about listing or something about that with related to Pulse chain. I don't know. I haven't looked up. So you could be looking at listings on certain exchanges because maybe or maybe not. Some of them have some big giant wallets. You know, maybe they were actively watching this space and like, whoa, check this shit out. It would be funny if Godware was just like an exchange. It would not surprise me at all. Now, here, so PulseX, right? We saw that the liquidity dried up. Now, wrongfully or rightfully so, I thought, well, I'll follow the herd, which I'm not so sure I should have. So you pull LP, so there's less liquidity, so things can move up and down rather savagely. If and when it ever happens, it may never happen. This might be it, people. Right? This is our chain. This is all we got left. No one's coming to save us, right? The only people who are going to come to save you will be like some sucker like me who's going to go out and do gig economy work and inject like $100 a week into it, and then make 1,000, and then maybe double, triple it when we see a double, triple, and then we're going to see huge profit taking dump his head, and he's going to be back streaming going, "What the fuck happened?" Sorry, I shouldn't swear. Now, then, so we see maybe do a negative 10x, I'm not sure if that's the correct math. Now, then we see the APR rugged from underneath us. No, not rugged. It's like the inflation rate was decreased on INC, which was an update, which is interesting. Now, so that is your, you know, if you're not focusing on anything else in the ecosphere, purely only HEX, PulseX, INC, Pulse Chain, PulseX Farms, the only ones you're playing with. Maybe the meme coin stuff. Maybe you're trading on PulseX with some of the tickers, I don't know. And then Go Pulse lists a long list of other tokens that have been created by either sacrifices or people who have created wallets, even. They're forked, God knows what. Other platforms. They've made some cool innovation stuff that I've heard pumped, but then pulled back a fair bit. But then some other stuff based on T-shares, wrapped. We got the E-versions, even stuff that bridged out to other chains, a whole other communities popped up, and whole other communities backing these different communities. So you know, it's no longer like, this is clearly not HEX related. Like, this is just everything. This is a new L1, and you have, in a similar fashion to Uniswap, you have all your, you know, Ethereum copies on there, but being brought over, in essence, being wrapped, I would say. We then had the perpetual, some innovative stuff there. Then you have all the fork tokens. Now, the fork tokens was the at one stage there was the big PDI or something is going to go to $1, which it still may, but because of its coding and how the contract operates and a lot of stuff, it was more obvious later on that it was potentially subject to, you know, infinite, the equivalent of, very close to the equivalent of infinite ditch bug, kind of. If you know how it works, people were just extracting, and in the low liquidity environment was affecting the entire system. Everyone was crying. No one was buying. I don't know how that rhymed, but yeah. And then we see. So that's like history. Can't change it. We now have low liquidity. We have I heard some other stuff coming out. Maybe it's gonna mimic, like, I don't know. I don't know enough about it. Well, the drop sacrifice, I'm cringing at the sacrifice. Hopefully, the other stuff coming out is not sacrifice based related. But then, I haven't looked at testnet in a while. I'll be interested to see how that's going. But then we have this. So then we know if you're still in the crypto space, we then sort of Trump coin, all sorts of crazy shit. For some reason, Solana is getting more traction than Ethereum. Solana was very cheap at one stage, and I'm thinking, why not buy some? Again, if you got early into that, you might be doing okay. Now, though, we have this. This is kind of surprising to me because Pulse X, HEX, liquidity sort of dried up, shriveled, it's fading. It's better years behind them, you know. And we're seeing this here. We're seeing like really high APR on Ethereum chain, whilst at the same time, if I pull that up, we have pretty low gas. So I did see a tweet somewhere saying the relevance of Pulse chain is what now? Has a point. I like that Pulse chain exists. I got the free copy of everything. I don't like how everyone. I was, don't get me wrong, I was the one saying, I agree because someone else agreed with that the Pulse chain version of HEX would be worth more. But I wasn't dancing on its grave when I saw the price of EHEX just die and just be destroyed, because then people would maybe pull up that chart and be like, check out your shining hill in the city. You kind of got taken over and you kind of got slaughtered and you kind of lost. Now, the price of Ethereum also went down a fair bit, which is surprising, but also great. And now providing LP is not too bad, but then of course now Uniswap did its thing. So Uniswap then came out and they, I wouldn't say copied PulseX by any means, because Uniswap was already there. PulseX was a fork of Uniswap. I'm not going to speculate on what could take place in terms of rates could be changed, or rewards could have been, could be added on, or new farms or anything like that. Because we did see that there was some new farms that came out early on, which I didn't participate when the INC rate was insane, which I should have. So I thought, well, we're going to look at Uniswap on Ethereum with low gas, and then on top of that, they have Uchain. I have no idea, but it's pretty goddamn straightforward if you're familiar with all this bridging Pulse chain fuckery that people may not be familiar with. They might think going to crypto is buying through exchange, and then people are learning that, and then getting their own wallets. Now, that's what we'll get to next, the wallet. So Uniswap came out, and they have everything on Ethereum, as we are familiar with, and basically, it appears a while ago, I don't know how long they dropped Unichain as what appears to be an L2. Now, basically, what I saw was you drop in, the RPC settings, basically does it all for you. It's very smooth, and then you can swap your Ethereum for Unichain Ethereum 1-to-1. And then from there, what I saw, I could be wrong. Like I said, I'm not an expert in this field, especially this chain, but it did seem to be, once you bridge in, like I said, it brings you all the way back to whatever that chain was years ago, like 2000. Anyway. And then basically you swap your Ethereum on Unichain for other tokens on Unichain, and they have, similar to Pulse chain fashion, something like USDT, but it's not. It quotes is not traded anywhere on central exchanges because it's the copied version, I guess, or the wrapped version, or however they've done it. In a very similar way to how Pulse chain had done it, with DAI. You see the Ethereum DAI, Ethereum USDC, Ethereum not comp. What's the other one? Ethereum USDT. There's another one. But yeah, and so basically you're seeing the same thing there take place on Uniswap on Unichain, and it's pretty cheap over there as well. Like it's very cheap, it's very fast, it's very smooth, and also this is the wallet part also, but they dropped in the the ability to like, do you want to connect to the Unichain wallet? It's like already there. Not sure how that works because I haven't actually opened it up and I guess created a wallet. But everything is getting very seamless. Like the other day, I was even looking at Solana, and I didn't know there was this thing called, I can't remember what it's called. But if you have a MetaMask, it's basically a extension, install, click, bang, you have what do you have? A Solana wallet, which is just functional. You can use based on your existing address from your seeds from your MetaMask wallet, I assume. Now, that is very seamless. It's like you don't want to go through the whole process of getting your whole time Solana buy from centralized exchange or whatever, and sending it over to your wallet and using their dexes. You just bypass a few steps, end up with an address, and then you can engage with the Solana trading through various means. Like then you can jump into the dexes. So I thought that was very useful, and I was surprised at the amount of innovation that's taking place, which I've been absolutely like, I've got my blinders on just only for Pole Chain, and I was like, huh. In the meantime, a whole lot of stuff's taking place, like cool stuff. Now, yeah. And so now what we're seeing what we saw in a similar way to the high yield on PulseX. And we're now seeing in other chains, on top, built on top of their chain, on top of their decentralized exchange. I kind of like how they did it. They basically had the DEX that Hexicans made very popular and directly from the founder of HEX, which we then got shafted a little bit because it got delisted. I'm actually not sure if it's listed back, but I'm pretty sure it'll be listed soon. It would be really nice to see if one day we see the similar integration on something like Pulse Chain. I think Cowswap does it, or whatever some of the other dexes are. They're not more friendly, but they're just less. They operate seamlessly as well, but they don't include Pulse Chain. I like when they include Pulse Chain. Now, this one doesn't include Pulse Chain. It's not the end of the world. Pulse Chain has its own bridge, somewhat slow, clunky. I would say pretty safe, but the layout. I don't know how to explain it. The layout in Pulse Chain, PulseX, INC, HEX is a lot of work, but it's worth it because that's the price you pay for security. In my opinion, things become harder to deal with. It's like, my God, why do I need a password on every single level? It's like, well, because you don't want one thing cracked and then you just wrecked. That's not to say these other things aren't secure or anything like that, but just the way that Uniswap integrated their DEX and integrated almost an internal bridge with the L1, with their version of L1, is pretty seamless. And then on top of that, they've now launched in this low Ethereum period of time, a certain time where you're actually getting rewards through Uni token as well. Now, Hexicans are probably very familiar when they got that Uni drop. That was pretty sick. So it wouldn't surprise me if you see energy being drained everywhere to try and get some of these. I mean, if the other option is for me as a Hexican, stake my Hex for the next 15 days and see what the price of Hex does and the yield return, or put it in a farm and get 10%. It's like, but then there's other stuff like I could just go buy an investment property and live off rent for the rest of my forever, and then that would be all right, right? Like have one or two properties, and and then so it wouldn't surprise me if going way back people did that when all-time highs of Hex, etc., etc. So there's nothing wrong with that. That's the dream, right? But to then go back and walk around in the ashes of all the dead skeletons, like in the scene of Terminator, it's like, oh, I'm not sure this is fun anymore, man. There's a whole lot of wrecked people, and I hope they're doing okay. Now, this layout here, we're seeing some rewards are very surprising. I'm not even sure if it's on Uni chain or what, but like 58% on Ethereum, like whatever that chain that is. Yeah, whatever chain that is, right? They got a whole list of chains. It's like super seamless. So initially, I don't know if you can remember, Ethereum, like it was just a DEX for Ethereum. Now it's just like all the L2s, all seamlessly integrated. Click, 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 and you're on multiple different chains. L2s, whatever. It's cheaper, it's faster, whatever. We did see some tweets that could be the reason why price of Ethereum is being like sucked down because of all this. But I gotta say it's working pretty good in terms of if you're providing liquidity, as we're seeing in some of them. Now, what else? Yeah, I like how they've done it. I gotta admit. And at a time when if we go back to Pulse X and we're seeing like 0.39% APY, that's like basically money mark deposit. Like it's like the worst. It's wrecked. So if you have a whole lot of like crypt like Pulse X and Pulse chain, it's like why would you even do that? I don't know. I just can't see from here without massive bias from like benevolent entity like praying to like God, which may never come. Without huge buys injected into the system, which then pumps through the absolute stratosphere over time or slowly, I can't see. Yeah, it's a shame. Like I'm speechless at this point. I'm feeling absolutely wrecked, absolutely devastated. Mind you, memories from the all-time highs. The seeing what it did do. I wouldn't say people are not. I wouldn't say everyone's underwater. I would say a whole lot of money was created. Our internet money was created from thin air, and people did what they want with it. And you know, some people, if they're really successful, they became more successful. Some people are just really lazy. Maybe they became more lazy, like myself. I gotta admit. And yeah, what else? Now, let's have a look. Streaming's a mess. Jesus. Oh man. And so the next thing we see that's about it really. I mean, Gwei is super cheap. Ethereum price is down. Pulse chain is negative. Pulse X is negative. But if you sacrifice and got your 10,000x and sacrifice at 10,000x, you're probably still doing okay. The pools on what am I trying to say? The pools on why is it showing this one? Oh, there we go. The pools on Uniswap are kind of impressive. It's just a shame they went all anti-hex at one stage. And it's a shame though they. Well, I guess it's up to us. We could make pools over there and engage in that low liquidity environment. What would be low liquidity environment? I'm not sure if it would be hit parity. I think from memory, I have like a really old farm over there that's just like worth like $2 or something. I'm not sure if people would the point of that at this point in time, like what the reward would be versus actually just providing liquidity on Pulse chain because the lower fees. You'd hope it'd be lower on Pulse chain than Ethereum. I tell you. I'm not sure if you can. This sounds true. I'm not sure if you can get your Pulse chain and then if there's any way to send it across a bridge to get to like Unichain. That might be pushing a bit too much. Might be too much to ask for. I remember trying to import like BNB into fucking PulseSec. I don't know what happened if it's still there. It's sort of recognized something, but there's no instructions to this stuff. I have no idea. What else? Yeah, kind of. It's kind of cool. It's kind of cool how Uniswap's done this. I can't help but think they saw a good idea like Pulse Chain, and they saw a good idea like Pulse X and providing rewards. and they've kind of copied it. It's just funny they've done it at this point in time when everywhere else doesn't seem to be as much APR. I could be wrong. There could be higher APR elsewhere, but at the moment, but the problem is you talk about it and everyone just locusts in and just destroys it. But this is only going until like the 14th or something. Like I don't know how long, how much money you got, and how much whatever, and what farms you engage in. But what we saw, if you've been using PulseX, I guess you kind of learned that maybe you're looking at the stables, DAI, USD, Tether. You're like, okay, if price goes up, you're not going to get hit too hard. You might gain permanent loss from loss of coin, but you're going to retain that amount of investment. And then on top of that, you're going to get some INC tokens. So on the Uniswap chain, the equivalent would be similar story. Instead of INC, you might get some Uni tokens as reward on top of the actual fees that you get anyway. And a lot of them seem to be better than like Ethereum USDC on whatever chain that is 58% APR, and that's not without any extra reward. So I'm fascinated to see if people are going to flock back to things like Uniswap. I don't know. Chase yield there, chase APR there. What it could do to the HEX ecosphere could be pretty disastrous if they don't return. Like if they exit the system and gone forever. Now, I would like to exit the system of HEX and come back with more, and then be like, okay, cool, and then price go up. But we'll see what happens. Right? We'll see what happens because the future is not written, and who the fuck knows what's going to happen? The HEX could insane buyers could come through at any time, like it has in the last few weeks, months, years, and completely off guard. Price go up, celebration. I still remember making that celebration stream. It was like Pulse Chain hit 2x, PulseX hit parity, Hex was doing okay, 2-3 cents maybe. So things like that, and INC was pumping as well. It was pushing $10 from memory, and yeah. So things like that, no doubt, are going to happen in the future on Pulse Chain, in my opinion. But at the moment, I'm looking at these and going, how are people not going to take these up? Assuming they know what they're doing, but that pool APR is kind of good. And then you got endless possibilities. Like I said, my analysis of cryptocurrency so thus far has been, if you can imagine a big, giant pile of money, right? That's the point. The biggest pile in the world you've ever seen, like Bitcoin. And then from that pile, another pile fell over. Ethereum pile appeared. Okay, big giant pile of money just appeared, and they just keep growing and growing and growing. And everyone said, "Hang on, if we sell our big bags of this shit, the pile will get smaller." So then they innovated, and then we saw forks of Bitcoin, which maybe weren't done the best because of whatever implications they had in the jurisdictions they reside in, but things like that took place, and then more piles of money started appearing. And on top of every pile, you have everyone has their flag that they fly, and then for some reason wars get fought. It's like, why? In the end, it's all about money. And then we saw in Ethereum more piles appear, piles of cash, smart contracts. Now, along the way, a whole lot of scams, and people figure out how to drain all this money away. But the good stuff that has stayed around is people are kind of innovating. So we don't saw Solana come out of nowhere, another pile of money. It keeps growing, and then on the back of that, people create meme coins, and then another pile appears. Okay, some of them rug, but then the ones that don't rug or the actual Solana itself still exists, and the pile just keeps growing. To those who play the game properly, I guess, or understand the rules, or get lucky. Some people call it luck. But it's like you've been following this shit how long, and then it's like, oh, it's just luck, bro. It's like, no, you trust me. I people have seen a lot of shit in the crypto space. Hopefully they get mad rich. Hopefully anyone watching this gets mad rich. Hopefully everyone gets mad rich in cryptocurrency. But you got to think: are you buying at the top or selling at the bottom? Because you could buy at the top and lose your money, but you could sit bottom, make more money. Yeah, I don't know about that one, but maybe like when you see some high APRs, like I don't know, like I'm gonna give it a shot, see what happens. On the back of this, I'll run another experiment and try and start DCAing. It's tempting as it is with these lower therapies. It is tempting to be like, okay, I'm going to dollar cost average into EHEX and see what EHEX does. But I don't. It's like, you want to abandon pulse chain? Do we want to just vaporware just exist? But like no one's actually using it. No one wants that, and I don't think that's what's happening. I think what is taking place is just market forces, and we're seeing competitors who continuously develop, and maybe for some reason they attract builders, investors, or just people with money who don't sort of want to vomit when they hear Pulse Chain or HEX, or maybe they didn't like us for some reason. I don't know. Maybe they just felt a bit butthurt because we used to troll them so hard, and it's like, now we're like dying for water. And they're like, hey, you're not getting shit. And they're like rolling out this nice jet spaceship or something. And we're sitting in the back in our little pile. Because remember, everything's a pile of cash. And then we saw HEX come out and just create money from nowhere. And everyone's like, it's a scam, It's like, oh, this one's still here. Shit. It's still here. And then Pulse Chain but those piles are unfortunately a little bit less than they once were. Especially even if they were listed correctly on coin market cap, we still wouldn't be like number one, number two. I do remember the hoping it was Delta. Imagine a world where HEX on Pulse Chain is number one, and HEX on Ethereum is number two, and then Pulse Chain is number three, Pulse X number four. INC wasn't even known about at that point in time from memory. And yeah, it's not quite happening there, people, in cryptocurrency. Now, laugh as you may, just remember at one point in time, Ethereum was what, 17 cents or 20 cents or $1 or something, or some tiny amount of money. So too was BNB. That stuff was like I'm pretty sure it's under $1. I'm pretty sure at one stage I was like, BNB chain, what the like, this is retarded, this is wrecked, and now I'm like, it's gained some traction, quite successfully. And then Solana 2 came out, and I'm like, nah, man, there was another one. It wasn't Cardano. Sui's like something new. Tron's just been like, it won't die. No matter how many drainers they well, AVAX, still Illuminum's low. Shib. I had a dream about Shib. Someone was like shipping out ledgers or some shit. I don't know what was a Shib. These people were. Bitcoin Cash is like still in existence. That's the one. Polkadot. That's the one. That was, yeah. Anyway, and then DAI still doing its thing. Monero still doing its thing. Pepe, Megalo, Uniswap 540. Where's Trumcoin, man? What's Trumcoin doing? And a whole lot of other stuff that I should not care about, but had I have got early into it or been a founder of, maybe you would have made some insane gains on this stuff. Ethereum Classic still functioning, like. Arbitrum, what the fuck? There is Maker's doing alright. Fart going. What does 2026 look like? PayPal USD. How is that number 75? Tether Gold, Flocky, IOTA. Bitcoin SV. That's still a thing. Lido Dow. Oh my god. Pudgy Penguins. Aww. Where's Dog with that? Doge with it. Doge, what the fuck? Oh my god. How is that number 8? Doge, man. If I can find my Doge. The amount of cryptocurrency I've lost is, I don't want to think about people. Now, pancake, oh my god. Trump coin is like trending. All Solana-based memes. For some reason, Pulse Chain hasn't taken. And somehow I'm talking about Neo. Somehow I'm talking about goddamn Uniswap again. Like, it's just come full circle. And then on top of that, we've got the sacrifice. Like, get ready now. And okay, this thing might moon hard, but it's like, what? Who's most likely going to make more money out of this? The people that already have money, like chilling okay, or the wrecked brokies, mate. The wrecked brokies aren't doing shit. I'm a wrecked brokie. I'm not going to be like, I want to drop like 10K in this thing and make 20K. I'll be like, I don't even have like a dollar at this point in time, maybe, like barely. Like, so maybe they'll be listening to me. Cryptocurrency. I just sort of watch from the sidelines and I'm going, shit, man. Like, if you time it right, you can make a lot of money. It can be life changing. And if you execute your sales correctly at the right time, you can lock that shit in and you are set life. And all it takes is one very good trade, very, very good trade, or a series of reasonable, okay decisions. Like maybe you see ladders perform well coming over the coming years. Maybe you still believe in HEX and the T-shirt, right? And then in 10 years' time, we see some really crazy things or strange things or interesting things take place with the systems on Ethereum and on Pulse Chain. And we see like who's left, and maybe it sort of lingers and then sort of just, does crazy things. And all of a sudden it's in the dollars, and then, people are sort of gain interest. And it just sort of sticks around like, the old Dogecoin won't go away. Or maybe, maybe it sticks around like something like Bitcoin did. Who knows, right? You're in finance. Low. ETHPOW, I saw that. Low. All right, that's about it. Can you not spike grading? Seriously? Stop spiking. What are you doing, Ethereum? This is mass migration of money from PulseX to Uniswap. That would be just unheard of. But like at this point in time, I'm like, how are the pools so high? Like, did anyone else notice this, or is this just me? Or we're just not talking about this? Like, there's no one talking about this. Let's do a YouTube search on this and let's see if other people are covering this, because I don't know what is going on. I've officially got this. Uniswap rewards. I'm just having a quick search on YouTube, people. So we got the stake Uniswap token. Okay, put this over here. It's interesting to see what crypto what's it called? Crypto YouTube looks like now. I remember back in the day, just any shit coin would come along, pump, talk about it, it pumps, and then it dies. But now we've got the meme. It's like the art's been perfected, and now it's like officially on chain. And it's arguably better though, because you kind of know you're gonna die if you enter into them anyway. I remember I did one on the other stream that like literally did death candle, like rage quit. It wasn't as funny as that guy. Oh, but it was pretty bad. Yeah, see, look here, how to farm airdrop on Unichain. It's not fucking airdrop. Am I farming airdrop token? Is that what I'm doing? Because I thought I was getting uni rewards. And I thought uni rewards was uni token. See, I don't even know what I'm talking about here. Do not listen to me. Do not just Just stay with like your cash and just watch it be obliterated by inflation. That's the optimal move in the Matrix. Definitely do what the Matrix wants you to do. Hang on. Trade, explore, pool, view positions, create position. Let's create position, and where's the fucking? I'm not connected. That's why. Oh my god. I'm not connected to this, man. I'm so connected to this, man. Trained live on stream. Low. That sounds funny. Oh, fuck no. Do. Right, so this is. I can't believe this. I thought I was farming Uniswap, but I'm farming airdrop. Farm airdrop? What the fuck? I haven't seen a payout yet. I want to see what's going on. Do need like elevator music. Now we got pools, and then we got reward. God, I could be right, man. Nah, it's uni. It's uni. I'm certain. I'm 100%. I'm 99.9% sure it's uni token you're farming, not airdrop. Unless you get an airdrop from it, which would be interesting because like a promotional airdrop would be very, very much appreciated. That'd be arguably it could be because it's like somewhat new. How old is Unichain? I'm not even sure at this point in time. All right. Let's have a look at this. Grok. Open Grok. Sorry, people, for this riveting content, but I'm just genuinely curious. Chain, how old is so look, I mean 10, but yeah, but that's for the junior reward. Let's have a look at pools. Pools. I'm genuinely fascinated by these pools. Some of them are pretty decent. And I'm not saying, but yeah, anyway. I remember way back when, because the hard thing is, right, people always quote someone in context or out of context, depending on your opinion or point of view. But you got to remember when they quoted those things, when you quote things from the past, things have happened from then between now that may not be as logical anymore. Logic. So when you see like people say PulseX is the highest APY or whatever, now we're like, well, maybe it's not, and maybe because I remember saying it's like, wouldn't it be cool if it wouldn't be cool, but the fees on Ethereum might get so high, there's been forked, and then you might get this free stuff over there to unlock some of it. You might use some of this free stuff to unlock some of the high fees over on Ethereum. It's like, well, what if this free stuff that you got for free for forking being forked? What if you then use that best of your ability to make more money? And if more money is being made over on chains that are cheaper, faster, with high APR for certain things that you're willing to risk, maybe you do that. I don't know, man, because like I said, if you have the option between sitting on HEX for the next 15 days, prove me wrong, someone go out and just mega pump the price to like $100. I'll be crying. Everyone will be crying. Oh, what? It's like, yeah, but then you got a bag somewhere else. Like, yeah, what about in a year's time? Yeah, what about in 10 years' time? So, like I said, money goes to where it's treated best. There's also a saying, right? So, why is it that people, it's almost broken logic that money goes to where it's treated best. So, HEX doesn't treat you good. PulseX doesn't treat you that good. On Pulse Chain's doing okay. Fees are kind of high. Yields really sucky everywhere unless you build something cool, which other people are. But if you don't like that, then guess you go back to what you know. And if that's doing okay and the fees aren't too bad, and you got all this free shit from somewhere, I don't know. But then you've got the long-term game of shares, long-term game of supply and demand. I do believe that's kicking in. Never emergency end state people. Oh my god, what are you thinking, people? Now, but see, it's not that new. Unichain like October 10, 2024. Oh, sorry, mainnet went live. I didn't even know. Okay, so mainnet went live 6 months old. Okay, so it's 6 months old. Not like I hadn't heard about it till now. A few days ago when I saw like a tweet on X, post on X saying basically APR reward. Let's have a look. What was I sharing again? Oh yeah, the search. Let's have a look. Terrorism shit. Manifest. Yeah, so if people don't know how to do this stuff right now, man, you're not being crypto. Like, this is for basically if you are in Pulse Chain or have been in HEX, you learned everything, you're understanding pretty easily at this point. If you're slack like me and haven't gone to the real depth of it and actually started coding shit, you would have learned very okay operational security. You would have learned very okay ways of dealing with LP, providing LP and farming LP, and you would have learned how to, bridge between chains. You understand the concept of bridging between chains, so you understand between swapping from on a front end like a DEX. It looks like a DEX with a symbol that says Ethereum. When you're swapping, it allows you to swap with Ethereum with a symbol on Unichain. You're basically bridging at that point in time, or swapping, or trading, whenever. When I look on chain, what it looks like to me, and then you're then able to trade on these different tokens, provide LP, and then you're able to understand how all these other bridges would work. Let's do a trade. Let's have a look. So if you look, oh my god, you got BNB on here. Oh wait, that's if you hold BNB. Yeah, they got like, I won't show it, but you guys are probably pretty familiar with this. It's like Arbitrum, BNB, Ethereum, Base. That's what it is. Base, Unichain. They covered that already. Polygon, I think. I can't remember Polygon. Whatever. So all of this between like one of the DEX is pretty impressive. AVAX as well. AVAX, another one. What the fuck is that? But yeah, there's like, it would be cool. It's clear. It would be very nice to see something like this integrated with, I guess they can't do it on Solana, can they? No, they can't. It has to be okay. And then, so you can trade it between that. I guess they can't do Pulse Chain because it's like Ethereum kind of base sort of shit. Okay, that's kind of cool. It makes, if you understand all this, it makes trading interesting. What still sucks, if you ask me, not that anyone does, but what still sucks in my opinion is the centralized exchanges and the fees that they like wreck you with. Because if you have a choice between entering a new capital of any amount, if the banks even let you, like they might buy you or some shit and be like, oh, it's too much. But say you want to enter in any amount larger than, I don't know, $1,000 or something, and then you're gonna get torn up by fees, and the fee that you pay is gonna also then eat into your gas fee. It's like, I paid a fee to enter in, I've lost amount. So 1,000 becomes like 950, and then depending on what chain you're on, is they're gonna move it around a couple of times, do a couple of swaps, and you're already down to like 945. It doesn't sound like much, but then over time it starts to annoy you a bit with these fees, right? So this is the good things about things like Pulse Chain that provide you with cheaper fees. Now there are other stuff out there. If you want to attack the APR, PulseX is actually not the place to be. But at one point it was very favorable. It was like through the roof. But now we're seeing from what I'm seeing is some high APRs over on Uniswap through their Unichain and Ethereum. So I'm guessing Unichain talk to Ethereum pretty well for the code, whatever how that works. And it's not going to surprise me if we see that perform well. And like I said, when I get bored, I'll be like, what can I do with my shit? Oh, HEX, that's right. And then if you have enough of it, the question is, that's the question now. I'm like, going, what the fuck? What do I do with it? Because I have stakes ending, and price not so good. Then what? Like, am I going out 15 years? Okay, easy triple based on HEX numbers alone, easy double, about 10 years, whatever. It's very doable, yes. But in the short term, like a few years, the APR is just wrecked. And I'm like, unless we're going to see huge price appreciation, which I already locked away ladders for, where is my incentive? Where's my incentive here? To like just believe that HEX is going to go through the roof? Is this my incentive? I guess what was this incentive was to time lock for 15 years? Not knowing that there was an unknown in the future would be like a bit of a mind fuck. But I'm going to leave this here for 15 years and just see what happens. Had they done that, Bitcoin pizza guy probably knows how it feels the best. Yeah, so is that my now talking point? Like Bitcoin HEX is Bitcoin just instead of hash rate T shares, and so it's going to get more scarce, and so everyone in early who got mad rich could have been billionaires in 15, 10 years time. We upset, but they'll be like, oh no, they'll still be pretty well off. I mean, if HEX does, like I said, if HEX is $1, it's a win. It so far has outperformed my expectation, my thoughts of its future price, my expectation, when I decided to enter into the AA, going, I have no idea what the fuck I'm going to run this code, mint my own shit, cool. And then I was like, oh, okay, he's not doing shit, and all of a sudden I started doing stuff. Like, wow, that's really cool. And I kept doing stuff and get higher and higher. And I'm like, hang on, the amount of HEX that I have is a lot more than when I started. I'm like, how did this happen? And I'll see the stakes ending. I'm like, oh, okay, this is how it works. 6 years in, I'm going, okay, system is now been fully set to maximum price appreciation. So what is potentially going to happen in the future? It's harder to get. So if you have lots of it, that's how you're going to need lots of it to get more of it. And when you're getting more of it, it's going to be less of what you could have got from the early on. Like you'll see a stake today versus one with big payday bonuses. It's like not going to be comparable for, let's say, a million HEX. Even at 15 years, it's like, yeah, a million HEX at 15 years with big payday bonus is like insane. I didn't realize that maths until I'm looking at it. Like, what the fuck? Not that I have that, but I'm saying that example based on figures I've seen. And what else? I wish I got more. Wish I staked more early on, pre big payday. Wish I sold more, and wish I gotta tell you, I learned a whole lot of shit being a Hexkin. Still am, but you know, I said $1 HEX and I get my tattoo. Then I get my tattoo. $1 HEX, no tattoo. Like no one really cares when it's with me. Anyway. Only because I don't have any tattoos. But like I said, HEX has proved everyone wrong. It's not a security. It's not a fraud. It runs flawlessly on multiple chains. Post chain wasn't a scam. It smashed through initially did the 3x. PulseX also, did better numbers than people thought if it was a scam. So if you wanted to, Could have made profit, but like, were you really gonna make profit? I guess now I want to teach. Now I have to teach myself the lesson, the hard lesson, which is not to fall in love with your tokens, because at some point, you're going to have to make them bleed. It's going to hurt you. It's going to hurt your hearts. You're going to have to not stake your hearts. You're going to have to sell it, and you have to sell a piece of you, and it's just going to crush you. And it's going to be like, why did I do that? And then you look back and go, fuck, I can change that. It's all on chain shit. But ultimately, it's a lesson that we all have to learn. So, that being said, I think I'll wrap up because I've covered a fair bit of shit. Like I said, not shitting on Pulse Chain by any means. It has taught people crazy shit. It is allowed for, in my opinion, things. So Uniswap, you should be thankful for that fucking whole whatever took place with the SEC. You should kind of be thankful that some crazy loonbird, a whole bunch of insane psycho loonbirds, and they got together and destroyed the loonbird SEC. And now, to me, I'm seeing this stuff and seeing how it launches. I'm like, well, if they can't go after Pulse Chain, or can't go after HEX, maybe they can't go after any of it. AKA free speech, freedom to transact, freedom to move wherever you want. Not the freedom to fucking, I don't know, procreate some shit. But yeah, that's my little attempt at inspirational shit. But probably people didn't understand that. But if you did, thank you. If not, but yeah, if not, you're gonna have to just you can never understand. Now, that is some pretty impressive APR. Like I said, to make some money. To me, if I want to make some money, I want to go get where the highest APR is, knowing the risks. And like I said, I can't justify keeping, unless I'm already on here, because maybe I feel this chain is safer. Or say I had 100,000 times, 100,000, 10 times, 1,000 times the value, then maybe I'll leave it over here, right? But then if I wanted it to pump to the 10, 100,000 times, maybe the low liquidity has to be in place. I'm not sure. It's like a catch-22. It's like with the low liquidity, you can pump it harder, but when it pumps harder, liquidity is going to be more, right? So, don't know. Like I said, I can't see the point in providing liquidity on this chain if I can provide it elsewhere. I can see the point of holding these things because the price will go up, but the price isn't going to go up if the sole objective is people going to buy it to then lock away to get INC to it, because that's not really an optimal play based on the APR that you can see on the screen. Same as HEX, not an optimal play. Take $1 million fiat, put it in, and then lock it away in HEX for 15 years and get $3 million, which could be good. It could be worth a whole lot more. To me, price appreciation at this point is kind of the claws, the fangs on the snake. Because without it, I'm not sure why people will be interested. Yeah, it's just weird. The mind boggles as to why and how this is going to pump. Because, like I said, maybe if you catch it at super lows, and then the next, like, just say it keeps just goes down further. Please don't go down further, please. But I'm saying, say it hovers where it is, goes down a little bit. Then we see the 250k Bitcoin. Then we see the 10k Ethereum. Then we see what's Solana. Then we see the 1,000 Solana, 1,500 Solana. The BNB will be like 2,500 or some shit. And then we see Pulse chain maybe do some like 10x's, 1000x's, 10,000x's. And then, people, and then it'll be like another cycle done, and there'll just be a lot of rich people, and then you can do it, and then I don't know what you do, and you go dump it all back into Ethereum and get on Uniswap of all places. Like, this shit is confusing. It's hurting my logic. I just. All right. I think that's it, people. Sorry to waste your time. But yeah, I don't know, man. Do not know. All right, I think I've been going way too long. I'll wrap this one up. Yeah. All right.